You're watching the 420 Pace Network, found at 420radio.ca and paceradio.net.
You're watching the Three High Guys with Al, MJ, and the other Al on the 420 Pace.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Hey, good morning. You're live with the Three High Guys here on the 420 Pace Network. G'day, guys. How you doing?
Hi, guys.
I didn't realize how cut off that intro was. I'll have to put a little fade on it.
A little something, something.
A little something, something.
Little something, something.
I thought it was funny. Al said, "Good day, guys," because it's hi, guys.
I know.
I think that was like 3 or 4 meetings. We're like, we got to make sure we say hi, guys.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. You know, I change things up a little bit every once in a while, I guess, maybe.
Yeah.
By accident. So today on the program, we've got, as normal, our motivational quote by MJ. Al's got his list. I've got some recipes, as well as we got some healthy habits and some news, as well as not only just regular news, but we got some sports news and we got some events and entertainment news as well, don't we?
You sure do.
And a reminder, anybody who's out there who's listening or watching us while we're live, feel free to get involved in the conversation.
Interact with us, please, because you know I love these guys, but sometimes they're boring.
How rude.
So yeah, comment away and we'll add you to the conversation, that's for sure. So.
And you know, you could, if you wanted to, you could even go as far as calling in on Skype at Lifestyle Radio. If anybody still uses Skype.
Yeah, really. Hey, it's been a long time.
I don't remember the last time I got a Skype call and it just sits there on.
I actually did a Skype call probably twice now in the last 4 years, 5 years. I did one a few months ago. And one time I used it because I had to call the U.S. and my phone plan doesn't cover the U.S. So I just went on to Skype. It does.
Yep.
And I just made the call via Skype.
You know, most people don't realize that Skype, the system that is used, the audio call system that they use on Facebook is Skype in cloaked form.
Oh yeah, eh? Really?
Right? Yep. Well, Microsoft bought Skype, and then Skype has a contract, I guess, with Facebook or whatever, but it is Skype.
All righty.
They used to make that public information, but not anymore, of course.
Not anymore. No.
The more you know.
Yeah. The less they want you to know.
I remember you used to see, when back in the day with Facebook, you used to actually see what was going on with your posts and stuff.
Right.
And they're not the numbers that you see now.
Oh. I've got a live studio audience today. I'm joined by Garfield and Tessa.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hi, guys.
The Tom and Jerry.
Say hi back.
I heard one little purr.
Yeah. A purr and a little woof.
Yeah.
Tessa likes to say hi.
Does she talk to you, Al?
Yeah, we have conversations.
Rosa and I as well.
Yeah. And then she
Rosa will actually
right.
say, I love you and thank you, and when she comes in from her walk, she's like, thank you. You know, that kind of thing.
We often hear, come on, let's go. It's time for my walk.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you know, like it's still, we're just in the middle of cooking supper. It hasn't even usually because it's after supper walk.
We don't walk around the neighborhood very much. She's not very nice to other animals.
Right.
She loves people. She's just not around animals enough to really care and she just instantly she'd be like turns into Cujo, within
Right.
5 feet. Yep.
Yeah. Well, there's they are, as they say, part of the family, and
You know what? They've been around each other most of as long as you've had them. You got her. How old was Tessa when you got her?
oh, she was 2 months.
Yeah, I remember when you got her.
10 weeks. Yeah.
And you've also got
Garfield was a stray. He was a
and
feral
you've got
cat.
another cat as well, right? You've got
Yeah. We have 2 cats and a dog.
Odie is the other name, right?
Odie, Garfield and Odie. There used to be a cartoon back in the like 70s or 60s or something. I can't remember, 70s. Anyways, because I
watched Garfield.
Did you? And
Yeah.
okay, so the
It wasn't that long ago. Holy.
No, they've done a couple of real life movies as well since then.
well,
Yeah,
yeah,
they
like, there was a show way back when I was young. I don't think it was like the Garfield that maybe you.
No,
had
it was
seen.
it was different. Well, like Gumby, it was around the same time as Gumby.
Yeah, Gumby and Pokey. Yeah,
Gumby and Pokey. Which I don't know if you know this. Gumby and Pokey was a Sunday morning show that they ran either before or after Davy and Goliath, which were Christian cartoons.
Oh, I
Both of
watched
them.
David and Goliath too.
So did I. Every
Yeah.
Sunday, it was the only thing on.
Yeah, I remember watching them. For sure. But
I
yeah,
know, we're older.
Garfield
Be
is a
quiet.
feral.
You be quiet. You be quiet, Mary Jane.
Yeah,
I was just thinking mine was Sesame Street. So
Yeah, ours as well, and the Electric Company.
okay. Oh my God, I forgot about the electric.
HR
And-
Puffin stuff.
Yep, Captain Kangaroo.
Yeah,
Rocket Ship 7.
yeah.
that's gotta be
Commander
Canadian.
Tom.
That's
Commander
got to
Tom.
be Canadian TV.
No,
Nope,
actually, Rocket Ship 7. The big morning shows were coming from WKRB in not WKRB, WKBW in Buffalo, New York, and we got their signal. So there was a lot of Canadian content on there, and we had Mr. Rogers at first and Mr. Dressup, and then Mr. Rogers went down to PBS in the States, and Mr. Dressup stayed here.
He lived in Grafton.
Yeah,
What's
you
that?
address that?
He lived in the Grafton area.
That's you know what I had several interactions with Ernie Combs throughout my lifestyle because my parents would take us to his viewings,
Oh yeah.
and he was back then he was very personal. There's only 30 or 40 kids there, the first few years, and then wow.
Mhm.
Like that was the start of fandom. There were lineups just waiting to say hello to Mr. Dressup and Finnegan and Casey.
Finnegan, Casey. Oh yes.
Yep.
Yeah. I get
And
Commander.
and what was her name on I watched the documentary about Mr. Dressup a few months ago. It came out. It is out there, and it was very, very well done. And they even had the lady that played what was her name? The Queen. I can't.
I was like
remember.
3. I can't.
Yeah, I
help you.
can't remember her name.
Yeah.
I think she's the only one that's still alive.
Maybe a listener knows. If you know a listener, send us a message or
There
watch
you
it.
go. Yeah.
I'm still used
Also-
to radio, and can't you tell?
I'm curious as to since we're talking about like morning cartoons and things that we used to watch when we were young. You guys are talking about like a certain age range. I'm
Bunny and
wondering what
Roadrunner.
everybody, right? Like I'm wondering who else would be in my age range, or like what are the shows that other people
Ninja
watch?
Turtles, and
Or-
Power Rangers.
yeah, like was it? I watched Polka Dot Dora, Sesame Street.
Yeah, well, you were at the later end of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're watching the same stuff my son was watching.
yeah.
Yeah, but then if you
Just
go even
newer-
further, you get
newer.
into like Backyardigans and
Yep.
things like Paw Patrol. Hopefully,
Although
you're not watching Paw Patrol because that means
there
you have
were-
little right now.
There were
also
so
have
many.
grandchildren that have.
I see. I Bugs Bunny, Roadrunner, Tom and Jerry.
Yes.
You know
Those are
those,
the last.
and then it went into Garfield, and
Daffy Duck.
then you got then you had
The cartoon version
Spider-Man.
of Batman. Cartoon
Spider-Man, Batman. Yeah,
Spider-Man.
well, although Batman was
Oh, wham! Kaboom!
that was done like a cartoon, but it was a live action cartoon, I guess you would call it. That's
That
our
was,
Batman.
that was campy TV.
That's campy TV. Yeah, but that's our
Yeah.
Batman. Like your generation, your Batman is Michael Keaton.
Yes and no. I like the campiness of the original television show.
Adam West and I can't remember Robin's name at the moment. It just Dick
Exactly,
Ward.
because he's Robin.
Dick Ward. He's still alive, where Adam is not. Right.
Yeah.
But
All right.
they made a lifetime and a career out of that. Both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Well, there was a big following, right? A lot of kids watch those shows, and here we are. Basically almost 60 years later, reminiscing.
Well, you know what?
They were
Al?
good shows.
I don't know if you guys have seen the Flash movie, but the Flash movie, there's a lot of old cartoon characters that they brought back. Not even cartoon, just old characters. Like they inserted Christopher Reeves as Superman. They brought back pretty much all the Batmans. Even George Clooney had a cameo at the end.
Yeah.
But he claims that he broke that franchise. I think if it was Val Kilmer, I didn't like Val Kilmer's Batman.
Okay,
I like Michael Keaton, and Michael Keaton was in the Flash as well. They brought him back, and
I feel like I'm going to empower a little bit of Timmy's wisdom here.
Well, we need some
because
Timmy
Batman-
wisdom in this.
The
Yes.
Batman, number one, Michael Keaton. Beyond any doubt, it's got to be Michael
Batman.
Keaton.
He's the
Followed
one
by
that
probably
coined.
Adam West.
Yeah.
The original Batman. Okay, George Clooney didn't really do that bad of a job because the script was shit. The movie was shit. If it was a better
It was
whatever,
right
he would have
after-
done better.
His version was right after the Michael Keaton version, I think.
No, I think Val Kilmer's
Was it Val Kilmer first?
But either way, Val Kilmer's got to be at the bottom. Sorry.
I like Val Kilmer. He's an amazing
He's
actor.
great,
He's
but
had
as
an amazing
Batman-
career, but he was not Batman. And
Even
I'm not a
Robert
big
Pattinson
fan-
did a better job. That vampire.
I'm not a
guy.
big fan of Christian Bale's Batman as well.
Christian Bale is just to me dark as an actor.
It was
Didn't
supposed
he
to be.
do Psycho? Yeah, I know,
It was supposed
but
to be.
I can't even handle watching the movie Haunted Mansion. It's a Disney movie with Eddie Murphy. And that gives me the creeps. So there's no way I'm watching that
Well,
Dark Knight Batman.
so
I get it.
after a while, when we do our entertainment stuff, we're going to talk about a
Correct. I was gonna jump in there and say, why don't we go to a quick 30-second break here, and we can discuss movies in an entertainment section that's coming up. on the broadcast.
Yes. We haven't even done the morning motivational quote yet.
That's right. Exactly. That's
Yeah.
coming up. That's coming up right after our
Motivate up there, lady.
Stoner brain.
All right. We will be right back in let's see.
32
Uno
seconds.
momento.
23 seconds. 23 seconds. You're watching the Three High Guys. We're live here at the
We are.
East Network. Yes, we are. Are you looking for non-stop, continuous cannabis and psychedelic programming? If you are, then turn your browsers to 420radio.ca or paceradio.net, where you will find the 420 Pace re-rolled Saturday. Everything gets started at 8 a.m. Eastern Saturday morning. There we go. Don't forget to tune in. Non-stop, man. Non-stop. Great. It's all back to back. And don't forget all the filler stuff that goes in between. We don't have any commercials, but we have information and all kinds of stuff in between.
And there's going to be more filler stuff coming up because
Right.
Sherry Ann's out and about all the time she was at TIFF this weekend. And
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Exactly. So yeah, tune in Saturdays. Re-rolled Saturdays. Re-rolled,
Love it.
obviously.
Re-rolled.
All right.
Played.
Okay, so should we do the
Yes, you know what time it is, MJ? It is.
Ooh, ah.
I know, I got to make it longer. I know. All right. So our quote for the day is actually going to lead us into a breathing exercise. So bear with me.
Just a sec. I got to roll a joint if we're doing breathing exercises.
Okay, you do that. I'm going to tell you the quote.
Okay.
Just as a mountain remains steadfast and resolute through the changing winds, let your breath anchor you in the present moment, bringing clarity and strength to your day. I'm going to teach you how to do this, okay?
Okay.
This exercise is great if you need a little boost in the morning to help your blood flow. First thing you're going to do is get comfortable. You can do this by sitting in a chair or, standing. I prefer to sit. Put your feet flat on the floor and keep your back straight. First thing you're going to do is inhale for 4 seconds. We're going to hold for 4 seconds and then exhale for 4 seconds. So we're kind of creating a little triangle, okay? So we're going to inhale, inhale, hold, and then exhale. And basically what we're doing is creating this sensation within us. You can use your arms too if you'd like. Sometimes it helps to lift your arms for the 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds.
I can't lift my arms, sorry.
And then exhale for 4 seconds.
That I can do.
You do this about 3 to 5 times, focusing on the feeling of, as you inhale, you're going to envision pulling energy up through the earth and into your body. And as you exhale, you're going to exhale all of the negativity, whether it's energy or thoughts, and you're just going to exhale it back into the ground. That will help you with your blood flow, make you feel invigorated and ready for every day.
We need
Good
some
job.
bells or something so I can go ding, 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 ding.
Al, you could raise one arm or you just raise the other one. Just
I can. This is the best I can do.
Yeah.
You remember at Camp Wabican, which is on Lake Temagami. It's still there, but it's not owned by the same people. One of the things that we like to do, this is the 60s, early 70s, was yoga. And I can't do yoga now. It just hurts too much. But the breathing thing has always been something that I took away from that. And it really does help. You can really,
So it's interesting you say you used to do yoga, but now it hurts.
Yeah.
So that's exactly why you should do yoga again. And only because it will hurt less every time you do it. And eventually it won't hurt.
Not anymore. No, it'll just hurt because of my shoulder. It's just going to hurt because of the movement thing. So what I'm thinking about doing is learning how to meditate, because there's no stretching. Yoga is a very, very painful exercise.
It's difficult for those people that think it's just easy. It's not.
It's not. It's a lot. It's mostly concentration.
Mm-hmm.
And for somebody with ADHD, meditation is better, because the minute somebody else enters the room, I'm like, oh yeah, how was your day? Blah, blah, blah. And you can't do that.
That's why I can't meditate. I've tried. The only meditation that I've actually
I can only do it alone.
Is, oh yeah, of course. But the only meditation I've been successful with is it was a chanting vibrational meditation. And I think it's because, like you, I also have ADHD, and my brain wants to wander when meditating. So much so that my neighbor told me, if you have a thought that comes into your head, picture a broom just sweeping the thought away. And then you'll be able to just have nothing.
Don't go away though. They just
all I
move
see
around the room.
I see a bunch of brooms. I see this broom constantly pushing these things around my head, and I'm like, now I'm seeing a broom. Like
This is a
not
very calming sound.
grinding.
Grinding. What I've noticed, I think your
Not-
exercise, that breathing exercise, not only could you use that for motivation, but you could also use it to relieve stress,
Hmm.
tension, to help relax. You know,
Yeah.
maybe before you go to bed. To
It's out
Well-
with the old and in with the new. And that's true because old air can make you foggy.
Well, if you understand vibrations, like when you see a frog sitting on a lily
Ribbit.
pad and he's ribbiting,
yeah,
his vibration is moving the water. So if you can get rid of that negative vibration and pull in positive vibration, even if it's the mental combined with the physical, it's going to be positive no matter what. Like anytime you focus on just breathing, you're clearing your mind, because as long
your
as you're
mind doesn't
focusing,
clear.
somebody told me this. If you are only concentrating on breath in, breath out, literally telling yourself breath in when you're breathing and breath out when you're breathing out, there is literally no way your body can do anything else other than think of breathing. So if you're ever stressed, don't change your breathing. Don't think, oh, I'm going to take deep breaths and exhale. That might make you pass out. Just focus on every time you take your normal breath in, just say breath in. Every time you exhale, just say breath out. Because you're tricking your brain into just thinking about that, and then you don't think about anything else.
don't think anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or you can do what I heard
Distraction.
some celebrity did and pretend to light a joint and pass it to somebody. Don't actually even have a joint. Just the act of fake smoking a joint.
Breathe in.
Yeah. Just the act of fake smoking a joint. And they say also this is why smoking
There you go, guys.
can make you feel relaxed,
There you go. Al.
because you're breathing.
Thanks,
That
Al.
one. Okay.
So
Oh,
if you
I
do
dropped
have a
it.
doobie, get it lit.
So
Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4
All right.
seconds, and exhale.
Let's have. Alrighty. Is it time for Al's list? Are we done? Are we done with
no,
your
let's do
motivation
recipes.
morning?
Let's do recipes. I need to work up to this list thing.
Okay. All right. On to the recipes. All right. So today in recipes, I have got something that I have picked out that I think that everybody will enjoy. And here we go. I just got to find the right one. Here it is. There it is. We got some banana cannabis ice cream.
Mm.
Who doesn't like ice cream?
I'm not a fan of bananas, but go ahead.
All right. All right. Well, it takes you about 20 to 30 hours to make this, and you can get about a quart of ice cream with this recipe. So you get a 1.5 quarts of ice cream, 1.5 quart ice cream freezer container. So you need a big container in order to put it in. I don't know whether you get a special ice cream one or just a container you can put it in. A large saucepan, fine strainer, large bowl, 2 cups of cannabis almond milk. You'll have to make your cannabis almond milk ahead of time, obviously. 1 cup of coconut milk, 1/2 cup of sugar, 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, a pinch of salt, 4 bananas that are smashed up, and 1/2 cup of peanut butter if you want to add it. I think I'd add that. Would you add that, Al? Maybe cover up that banana taste. Maybe instead of bananas, Al, you could put a fruit in that you liked.
Yes, like strawberry.
Substitutions.
Substitute chocolate strawberry. Sorry, there's literally a squirrel going crazy. I don't know if you can hear it outside.
That's hilarious. You're ADHD. You're always
literally
joking
a
about, oh, look, a
squirrel.
squirrel. And there really is a squirrel.
Right there. They're squirrel specks. Can you hear it?
No.
Literally. So yeah, I'm sitting here and I hear this and I look out and there's 2 squirrels having sex in my tree.
All right.
Yep. Squirrel sex.
Don't turn your camera to it. We don't need to see that.
Oh, come on
that's funny.
now.
Our viewers have just gone up.
It's nature. Welcome to the Squirrel Sex Show.
Now we're all visualizing squirrels. Okay, let's get on. Let's get on with the recipe.
That's funny. Well, you said
Now-
peanut butter. Maybe it's the nuts, the peanuts.
Ooh, peanut butter. No, bananas and peanut butter. Oh, God.
Oh, so yeah, so you could throw any. The peanut butter is optional, and I would believe you could throw any fruit in there that you like.
And how long does it take to make, did you say?
They say 20 to 30 hours, but that's probably because of the freezing process.
Wow, because I can just break out my ice cream maker and I can do up an orange sherbet in about 6 hours.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah.
That's orange sherbet. That's not ice cream.
No, but you put the same cream in, and
Yeah.
and then you basically you take a bottle of Orange Crush,
Yeah.
and a can of the what do you call it?
Condensed milk.
No, it's sweetened condensed milk. It has to be sweetened.
Oh yeah.
And
So if you had an ice cream maker, you could potentially do this process
Yeah,
quicker.
yeah.
but
it
off-
is. Yeah, you have to.
I don't even think they even say an ice cream maker. They're using a freezer, just a regular freezer.
Yeah, you take it out and then you put it, bring it in, then you
Yeah.
scrape it all off, and then put it back in, and it's just a lot of that.
That's old school.
Yeah, so
That's
you combine your cannabis almond milk with your coconut milk.
Yeah.
Sugar and cornstarch in large saucepan. Whisk them thoroughly. Cook until medium heat until stirring consistently until mixture is thickened in about 10 minutes. Remove from the heat and allow it to warm. Pour the warm almond milk mixture through a fine strainer and into a large bowl. Discard all the solids. Chill your almond milk mixture uncovered in the refrigerator for an hour, stirring occasionally. Place some plastic wrap on top of the milk mixture for about an hour. Chill for another 12 to 24 and pour the cold mixture into 1.5 quart ice cream freezer container and then throw it in the freezer.
It crystallizes on its own. You don't really
Yeah.
even need to stir it, really.
Yeah. They say after you've had it in the freezer, that's when you would stir in your fruit of choice.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then mix it well. They say return container to the freezer for 6 hours or until the ice cream is firm. Let stand at room temperature for 5 minutes before serving.
Unless, of course, you like it a little mushy.
Yeah,
Some people buy fresh ice cream and then let it melt a little bit before they eat it. Do you?
Frozen yogurt. I don't do ice cream. Frozen yogurt.
Yogurt makes me go. "Whoop."
I'm a gelato girl.
Yeah, she doesn't like sauerkraut either.
Oh no! If I have ice cream, it's got to be Kawartha Dairy, and preferably Metal Ribbon
Oh, I miss one
or
of the things
Moon Mist. Oh,
I loved about the farm was I could just zip up to the corner store and get Kawartha Dairy ice cream. I can't do that here. They don't have no such thing. We got Chapman's, more, and Chapman's.
Wow,
Yeah.
really? Eh? Just
at least
Chapman.
Chapman's is still ice cream.
No,
A lot of-
there's Ben and
a lot of
Jerry's
those is
and stuff.
frozen dessert.
I love gelato. I like anything that is sherbety. My favorite, since we're talking about ice creams, my favorite ice cream combo is orange sherbet and chocolate ice cream on a cone.
On a cone.
Okay.
Mmm. Okay,
Yeah,
everybody,
I
run
have-
to the ice cream store and order that up.
I'm like, my two favorites are only made. They're like exclusive flavors. One of them
1
is made
second.
only
Shut
by
up already.
only by
Jeez.
Kawartha Dairy. It's called Gold
I feel
Medal
like
Ribbon.
I'm at a fucking squirrel motel.
So Gold Medal Ribbon is vanilla ice cream, chocolate ice cream, and
Yeah.
butterscotch.
That's
ribbon.
no, just
That's gold. That's the Gold Medal Ribbon.
I,
and then
tiger
the other one is
tiger paw. Tiger
Tiger
paw. Tiger tail. Is it tiger
Yeah.
tail or tiger paw?
Tiger Tail is orange ice cream with black licorice.
Correct.
Yes.
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 That's disgusting. Anyways,
That's no, it's
the other-
orange sherbet actually, I believe.
No, it's orange ice cream.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Orange cream ice cream. But the other flavor that you can only get, Kawartha Dairy also does it, but it's mostly on the east coast of Canada. It's that Moon Mist ice cream, which is banana flavored ice cream mixed with blueberry ice cream. I think it is mixed with grape or something like that. It's so delicious.
The original Kawartha Dairy, I can't remember the name of the town, but my mom's
Fenland
friend,
Falls.
Huh?
Fenland Falls.
Yes, my mom's friend used to rent a cottage up there.
Yeah.
So that's where we started going to the dairy. But this was back when it was just that one place.
Yeah. Now they're in Bob Cajun.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. Everywhere.
Yeah.
And-
We used to always go, well, Belleville, down by
Yeah.
you, MJ.
Yep.
They have Reed's Dairy. You could go in
They
there.
still do, yeah.
Yeah, and they got the train that runs around inside the.
It looks like a big
Inside the store?
castle outside. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's always busy.
Yeah, my friend always brings her kids there when she comes to town because she says it's ridiculous. You can go in and get one of those, at the corner store when they used to have those
Little cups,
the little
yes.
plastic
Yep.
cups with the peel off top with the wooden spoon. You can still get those there for like under $1 each,
Yep.
Oh,
or like
wow.
a pack of them.
They're
she
just
goes in and
sample cups. That's all they are.
well, for a kid that's 5 years old, you don't
Perfect.
need to get them. But it's like, here you go, and you can have 2 of them. Pick 2 flavors, and it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. So yeah, no,
Right.
it's a great spot.
All righty. So that's ice cream talk.
Yeah.
Al, you ready for your list, or shall we move on to the healthy habits? Because ice cream is a healthy habit.
Okay, let's go to healthy habits, and then we'll do my thing.
Okay. All right.
That's fun.
Do you know what song that is?
No.
I can't remember the name of it, but I hear the song.
I pulled that from Canva. It's just a background sound.
Yeah, but it's a cover of
Of a famous song. Good. Then that means
yeah, a cartoon song. Anyways, go on.
Go
Okay.
on.
All right. So today
Healthy habit.
today I'd like to talk to you guys about hydration.
Hydration.
Got my
Hydration.
water right here.
All right.
Hydration.
And it's both water. Interesting. Okay. All right. So most cannabis consumers know
I have
what
a
I'm
tea, too.
talking about when I say the word pasties or
Oh, yeah.
cottonmouth.
Oh,
I got that the other night.
Okay. So most of us,
From Diamonds, actually.
yeah, most of us have experienced this. It's one of the negative side effects of cannabis, among with red eyes, which, I mean, nobody likes that. But the best way to combat cottonmouth or pasties or dry mouth is, I guess, the medical term, is hydration. Just stay hydrated. And I mean, this is not rocket science, right? Like, we all know that water is essential, but how
Yeah.
many of us are actually drinking the proper amount of water?
You're
That's
supposed
why
to
I'm-
drink up to 8 glasses a day.
Yeah, so that's what they say, and that's very vague. So what is 8
A lot of
glasses
water.
work out into in water, though? Right? Like eight ounces of what? Or 8 glasses
ounces
what?
of
4
water.
ounces? 8 ounces? Are they like?
Yeah, eight
eight-
glasses of 8 ounce of water. Yes. So
So-
like this.
So they
8
tell
of
you,
these.
yeah, they tell you to like avoid that whole problem, because if you don't have an 8-ounce glass, whatever, they say 2 liters of water.
Just
Everybody
drink
knows
water.
a 2 liter of
Drink
pop,
water.
right?
2
You know, it's
liters,
that big
wow.
bottle of 2 liter. That, yeah, exactly. When you look at it like that, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's a lot. And
Yeah,
that-
I know the jug.
that is literally just depending. It's a base depending
That-
on your activity level.
I drink
weather.
about 10 of these full of water and probably 5 or 6 tea.
And I
Okay.
got a 2-liter jug of water in the fridge, so I'll keep track.
Oh.
I'll look into this.
Good. Good. So tea is actually a diuretic. It's just
Yes,
like
it is.
coffee.
Yes.
So if you spend all day drinking just tea,
It's not
yes,
good for you.
there is water in the tea. I had this discussion with my kids. So,
I know.
yes,
I've
there's
had this
water in the
conversation
tea,
with my doctor.
but you'll still dehydrate. Okay. But drinking water isn't just about dehydration. When your body is hydrated, you're more likely to see an improvement in your mood and overall well-being. So, water itself, just drinking water, can also maintain high energy levels, support digestion, help your skin look healthy, and may even help boost brain function.
Oh, yeah.
Water is my
And
favorite.
flush your system.
Water
Well,
is my favorite beverage, and it is always cold coming directly out of the lake. So I'm drinking Lake
You're
Ontario
lucky.
water, and it's fucking yummy.
It's cold and it's clean
It's
and it's
cold, it's
crisp.
clean. Although since I've been here, we've had at least one. We had 2 last year, but we've had one boil water advisory
okay.
this year, and it does happen, and it's usually during runoff.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
But our water comes directly out of. I mean, it's filtered and stuff,
It's
but it
through the
comes right out of
municipality.
Lake Ontario or Lake Superior. What's that, Al?
It's treated through the municipality.
Yeah, it's treated. You can tell when they, but not that much. You can tell when they've doused it with the bleach because you can smell it, right?
With the chlorine.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. Well,
I
it's
have-
interesting to me when I said that you're both drinking water because I run into a lot of situations where if you
You
ask
don't
somebody, especially with alcohol, if somebody says, "Do you drink?" and I'm like, "No, I don't drink alcohol."
I learned how.
"Oh,
I learned.
great."
Yeah, you
And
have
they're,
to
like,
drink
really
water.
shocked.
You'll get a hangover.
Well, no, people are really shocked if you don't drink alcohol, but yet if you turn to them and say, "Well, I don't drink water either," they would say, "Yeah, I don't drink water." Like, I don't drink water either. Like the majority of people don't drink enough water.
I love water.
I see that.
It's funny because I hate water. I don't like the flavor of it, but I don't like juice. I have this thing where in the winter my water can't be cold because
Cold ice water is my thing.
But in the summer it has to be, like you're saying, cold ice water. I have this very strange relationship with water, and to the point where I am extremely dehydrated. So I don't know if you guys have been catching on, but all of these health tips are based on things that I need to work on. Getting more sleep, being more prepared, things like this. I'm like, so I'm trying to help you guys as also trying to help myself. So if you also find water boring, I have a tip.
Now, would they consider a beverage, whether it's a tea, coffee, pop, or anything else that says water is the main ingredient in it? Would they consider that as drinking water, or
no? Because as I said before, if tea or coffee, that's a diuretic, so you're actually counteracting the positivity. But like,
I know. I was just saying,
what I was going to suggest.
Pop is liquid candy.
So in this water bottle, there is this, juice. Exactly. You said liquid candy, juice as well. I just want to touch on that too. So the reason why I'm going to suggest adding something like this water bottle was like $30 from Amazon. I think it's Essence. It comes with and this insert built in. In here is raspberries and mint. So you can flavor your water with herbs like lavender or mint, or put fruit in it like raspberries, cucumber, anything like that.
So you can infuse it. Okay.
Yeah, so you basically just add a little bit of flavoring to it. You can purchase those like Mio squirt things, Crystal Light.
Yeah, those usually have.
You're adding
sugar. Aspartame in it. Usually.
Yeah, correct.
You're adding a sweetener.
But adding a natural thing, like my understanding, cucumber water is good for you.
Yes.
So if you add cucumbers to that, that's all natural, right?
Yep. And you can do that very simply. That, like I said, this water bottle was $30. It's about the same as you would buy at Walmart without the insert. And I put stickers on it to make it my own. Seed stickers on it. So this is my attempt to drink more water and stay hydrated. And interestingly enough, if you want to know how dehydrated you are, get yourself in front of a black light.
Pinch your skin.
No. Get yourself in front of a black light. one of those purple lights,
Yeah.
take a look at your skin. Yeah. If you see discoloration in your skin under a black light, the coloring of the skin will tell you what's wrong, whether it's a mineral deficiency or if you're dehydrated or whatnot. I will tell you that if I went to a Halloween party where there was all black light, I wouldn't need a costume because I would look dead. I had black circles all around my eyes.
Yeah.
The skin is almost like a pale blue, and that's what they say is dehydrated when the eyes are all black. But you can't see it. Well, maybe.
It's stopped. The squirrels have stopped having sex, thank God. It took that long.
Focus on the list now. So yeah, black light.
Yeah.
Not your best friend.
Black lights. I never.
My black lights are wonderful. UV lights as well. I have a UV system in my furnace, so after the air is heated up, as it goes up the column to come up here, it goes through a UV light, like they use in the hospitals. When you walk in the door now,
it's like a sanitation thing.
It kills any airborne bacteria, mold spores, things. It sterilizes the air as it goes through.
Yeah. Wow.
So I have a question going back to your original cottonmouth theory.
Yes.
Yeah.
Al would know this. Why does that happen? Why do you get cottonmouth from some strains but not others? He doesn't know.
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Oh, I never
general.
related it to strains.
It's just wheat, because sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't.
Well, that could depend on a bunch of other factors too.
How hydrated you are.
Yeah.
If you drank enough water today.
Personally, I would say it would depend on what cannabinoids were in the plant and what levels, if you're talking about specific strains.
We'll have to ask our pharmacist this question.
Yeah. I do know there was somebody at one of those cannabis events that had mints that they were giving to people, and they said it was supposed to induce your saliva glands.
Well, anything that you suck on as a mint, a candy, or anything like that, or gum even, will
supposed to, yeah,
stimulate your saliva. Yeah, excuse me.
This one was stimulated by a plant. There was if you Googled the plant, it actually said that
probably spearmint.
It stimulates saliva production.
Probably spearmint, because that's something that would.
Well, he gave me a mint, and I put it in my mouth, and I had a dry mouth. Like I literally just came in from smoking a joint, and I put it in my mouth, and not even a minute later, I had to he was talking to me, and I was standing there, and I was like,
this
and
conversation
spit it in my hand, and was like, what the hell? Like it was almost like I could feel my saliva glands pouring into my mouth. I was like, okay, I don't like this.
Mouth
sweat. He's like, I gave you the strongest one. Oops, sorry. Yeah. But it did come in different levels.
You know those strips that you can get? You take them and you put them on the roof of your mouth. Yeah,
the Listerine ones.
Well, you put them on your tongue, right? But if they get stuck to the top of your mouth, man, you're in trouble.
I don't know. I don't like those anyways.
But I'm thirsty. Let's move on.
All right. Let's talking about moving on. Here we go.
It's certainly high on the list.
Thank you, Bing. Bing, 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 bing. Okay, my list today is because I've got ADHD, I usually focus on things about ADHD, how ADHD makes you a better teacher. And I know this firsthand. So there's I think there's 5 different things here that people with ADHD, I don't know. I find people that with ADHD, even though there's a lack of concentration, the communication is better. So because you improv very well, right? What is it? Right brain, left brain thinking, whichever one it is. creativity, your sense of humor. I deal with stress with humor, and it's gotten me into trouble with the cops because of it. Because you're like, you get pulled over and you're like, hey, yeah,
Yeah.
Sir, are you
Yes.
high? No. Um, a lot of people deal with that. It's not just ADHD, but I find planning under pressure, yes.
Yeah.
When you've got ADHD, menial tasks become very difficult to do sometimes. But when you
Shorter
have
tasks
to
are
do it,
better.
what's that?
Shorter tasks are better.
Shorter tasks. Yep. Creativeness, that's that whole right brain thing.
Mm.
And I'd say that's it can work both ways, unfortunately. But yes.
Yeah. The first two lines there of number 4, I drift off when I'm talked at for too long myself, and I don't want my learners to check out because I'm bored them. But as far as that drift off,
Yeah,
big time.
that happens a lot to a lot of people.
All the time.
Yep.
Sorry, were you saying something? Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Squirrel.
I drifted off there for a moment.
Most people with ADHD are very empathetic, and a lot of people don't like empathetic people, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Just because are you okay? Like I have a bad habit if I'm with somebody and they seem off, of asking them if they're okay. You become very attuned to your surroundings. You literally see and hear everything that's going on, and then you throw a dripping tap into it.
Yeah.
It's hard to concentrate, I tell you. Yeah. What were we doing? What were we talking about?
ADHD.
So I was just gonna say that I think that empathy is hard for a lot of people. They're more sympathetic than empathetic, which is completely different. To have sympathy for someone,
empathy is
understand what they're going through. And
yes.
I think the reason why people with ADHD are more empathetic is because they have so many other things that they have to deal with in their lives, that they look at other people and know that, they might have a bunch of things too.
Yeah, I can pinpoint somebody with ADHD, autism, things like that. I mean, I was diagnosed very, very, very young age, at the age of 5, and I was literally a test study at the Clark Institute and Hinks Clinic for hyperactivity disorder, which they called that. Al's stripping.
Yeah.
This makes it very hard to concentrate on my segment, Al, when you're
sorry.
That's funny.
We know you like that. Al's a nudist, so he just forgets.
Pants down, waist down, Al. We need some.
Yeah, I see.
We did enough events at Freedom Farm there, or Freedom. What was it? Freedom Acres, Freedom Farm,
Freedom Fields.
That I know that because I had to keep telling Al.
MJ was there. She knows what it was like.
Oh, that's right. You were there, weren't you? But you didn't go nude, did you?
No.
I did not.
So
there were too many rules. The Al told me I had to bring like a towel to sit on and shit, and I was like, I'm not coming. If I can't leave my sweat marks all over the place, I'm out.
My mom was a bra burning lady back then, and we used to go to Quarry out near Hamilton, which you've probably been to, Al. And this place, I mean, there were people that would come and just stay for the summer in a bus with their chimpanzee, and we'd swim and swim and swim and swim and swim. But my mom took it one step further, and we went to nudist camps all through Europe when we did our European vacation in a orange VW camper.
Yeah, I
Oh,
don't know.
yes.
How old were you? I don't know how I feel about
14,
children
15.
or minors being at a.
Yeah, no, but you see, there's a mindset that's totally different,
Oh, in
and Al
Europe,
can
yeah,
attest to this.
absolutely.
No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no, just nudists in general. It's not a sexual thing at all. Doesn't matter what age you are. In
I
fact,
get
that's one
that.
of the rules: is you don't make it a sexual thing in public. You want to do that, go off to the bush, go to your cabin, whatever. You don't do that in public. So there's no sexual anything.
Yeah.
One of the things that you do have to deal with when you're in a lifestyle camp setting in Europe, though, in the 70s, is the promiscuousness of people back then. So it was basically the kids had full run of the place during the day, but after dark, there were areas where the kids were not allowed, and that's how they dealt with it.
Yeah. Well, I know at Freedom Fields it was no public space. Keep it to your site. No
Yeah,
public.
it's a totally different mindset.
Well, there's a difference between being a nudist resort and being a sex resort. There are clubs in Toronto where you can go and be naked, and then there are clubs where you can go and have sex.
You
can't have sex at this club because it's not that kind of club, just like it's not that kind of resort. But I still don't feel comfortable if there's like 4-year-olds or whatever running around on the beach while I'm walking around naked.
Yeah, but in that setting, it's they're running around naked too, and also
that's even worse. I don't want to see I don't care. I'm not looking, but still, like
women
You look in their eyes. You look in their eyes.
Yeah, you got to close your eyes. Put blinders on. Women in Ontario are allowed to go to the beach and wander in public unless it's posted topless. And there are public beaches, one being still down on the Toronto Island.
You just walk down the road and be topless.
You can go to a swim park in Ottawa if you want.
Yeah,
I can drive topless.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Did you know that? I just recently learned that I can drive.
Women are allowed to be topless in Ontario.
Yeah.
Yes, but you shouldn't be behind the wheel. You know how many accidents you could possibly cause?
Well, you know what? When they made that bylaw come true,
you made it sound like it was a dream.
Well,
hey, I
true.
do know of somebody who was in the passenger seat and was topless.
The girls down on the old lake shore, the girls down on the old lakeshore strip started using their breasts to call in customers as they drove by. Yeah. So they quickly amended that bylaw to there may not be any solicitation involved at all, because the girls would stand on Queen Street. Hello, boys. Come on. These are my titties, Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, let's move on. Let's move on. That's right, because you know what time it is? It is.
I'm disappointed. I thought it was the sports shorts. I was getting ready to say.
No, that comes after the headlines, man. Right. Okay, all right.
I love the difference in all of our music.
It's that motivation, right?
It's time
today on our TED Talk.
Yeah, I'm being blinded by the sun here, but here we go. I've got the story, the headline story we're going to use, and just got it all lined up, and here we go. Headline says Trump says he supports cannabis rescheduling and banking access.
And I just want to remind people we generally are not talking about politics, but this is something that needs to be brought up. Okay.
Yeah, when a presidential candidate discusses legalization of cannabis, no matter what side of the thing that they're on, it needs to be discussed. Sure.
Yes.
Yep.
And remind me when you're done, because we'll talk about Kamala Harris and what's going on there with this.
I was just wondering what her stance is on cannabis.
Well, this is what I was going to say after, but I guess I can say while Al's getting us to the point where we wants to be. Kamala Harris has not said anything.
Yes.
That's where we're at.
Yeah, let's stick to this story first before we change the
Well,
topic.
that's why we don't have an article for her saying it. We just have
Well, it was only one that this is the only one that came up. I could have grabbed one that had both of them in it, and we
should have because there was one there.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, like I said, what her stance was on this, and if she hasn't made a stance yet, then there was no article.
And that there are people criticizing that she has not made a stance, but he's just said this the other day. So let's go back to the article.
Oh, okay. I'm on my way to go find an article that's got both views on it.
Oh, okay.
Because I do have one. I just got to get there. But continue.
Yeah, basically we're not for or against either or. I personally don't have any comment or statement.
Well, I have some comments. I'm just not having that conversation.
Well, I'm just saying I have no comment on who should win or whatever. I am interested though in the politics of it all because I like the way I love the debate. Like honestly, I'm a politics nerd. I'll be watching the debate tonight. But as for picking sides, I generally don't do that. I want all the information.
Trump has just announced this like within the last 24, 48 hours, I think. And with the debates coming up, I think that's when we're going to hear, because the first question out of the fucking gate for her is going to be blah 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 blah, right? Yeah. So
all right,
it would be nice.
I won't watch something like that, so you can tell us about that next week.
Well, it would be really nice to see movement in the States with the cannabis, legalization and was it regulation change or?
Okay, go ahead, Al, because there's and then we'll talk about what's happening in California.
Trump and Harris both agree that marijuana should be legal.
But
yeah. Okay, now the truth is both presidential candidates have changed their position on the issue over the years, reflecting a sea change of public opinion. It does not necessarily mean that either, if elected, would invest any effort into addressing it, which is true. Back in 1990, Trump was a famous billionaire. He says he called the war on drugs a joke and recommended legalization instead. We're losing badly on the war on drugs. You have to legalize drugs to win that war. In an interview after that speech, he said that he hoped people will start to realize that this is the only answer. There is no other answer. As a Republican candidate 25 years later, he implausibly claimed his 1990 remarks did not count as an endorsement of legalization. So he said all that, and then he turns around and says that does not endorse legalization.
Yeah.
Now he also says that back then that he in the 2016 campaign that he said to leave it up to the states. And that's what I think he's going to do now. Despite allowing the states to make their own decisions, his Attorney General Jeff Sessions rescinded the Justice Department's memo that encouraged federal prosecutors to leave state licensed cannabis suppliers alone. So why would you cancel that? That was implemented. That was the Cole memo that was issued during the Obama years. Now, as president, he also proposed eliminating an annual renewed spending rider that bars the Justice Department from interfering with state medical marijuana programs.
Isn't that what's already going on?
Not state-wise, not as far as the feds going in and raiding them. Not that I.
Okay, so yeah, because they don't really reckon, like Canada, federally, they don't really recognize.
No, Now he says that someone should not be a criminal in Florida for possessing cannabis.
Why
He says
just
that
Florida?
getting busted, ruin lives, and waste taxpayers' dollars. So, as they say, it's fair to say cannabis legalization has evolved, but the same is true with Harris. See, Harris has been criticized for aggressively prosecuting weed-related crimes when she was California's Attorney General and
That's right.
San
I
Francisco
forgot about
District Attorney, particularly giving the racial disparities in punishment nationwide. She opposed California legalization in 2010. She was the San Francisco District Attorney. She laughed at a question about legalization in 2014 when she was running for Attorney General, she was running against a Republican who favored it. And she declined as the California's general attorney to take a position on the 2016 initiative. 2 years later, after becoming a senator, she took the plunge, saying, "We need to decriminalize marijuana nationwide." Later that year, she co-sponsored a bill that would have repealed the federal ban, and she introduced a similar bill in 2019.
Sounds like something changed her mind when she had that year. She had no comment on it.
Yeah, like she changed her mind around
the other way.
Yeah. Now, there are 38 states that have legal medical cannabis. 24 of them, according to the most legalized medical marijuana, and 24 of them, accounting for most of the U.S. population, is allowed recreational use. 70% of Americans, including 87% of Democrats and 70% of independents and 55% of Republicans, think cannabis should be legal. I wonder if it'll come up tonight on the debate.
I would think it would, and you know, I mean, let's be frank, shall we? Okay, cannabis is probably the other than Trump, the most widely talked about subject in the world now. Yeah. There's enough information out there that have brought medical cannabis to light. And then there's just as much information about recreational cannabis. But cannabis is here to stay. And although
Harris has come out recently, they just had a 420 celebration back in April where she got
was she there?
Yeah. Where there's a couple rappers were there, and she talked then about the legalizing of cannabis, and people shouldn't be going to jail for it.
Well, whatever's going to happen is going to happen, right?
Yeah, exactly. And as we all know, just because somebody promises it doesn't mean that's going to happen. All it takes is because there's 3 levels of government, it may require an executive order in order to change that. Because let's say there's a Republican House, the Democrats remain in the White House and the Senate, and it's doubtful that even though that it would pass in the Republican-led House, no matter how much a president promises it. And the same thing could go the other way around. Trump could get in there, and the Democrats may just say, "Fuck you! We're not going to pass that if when we're controlling the Senate." And
there's also something going on with Newsom, who is, I guess, the California governor. And he wants to remove anything hemp THC related and ban it, which would basically take out the cannabis market in California.
The Delta 8, the hemp products, not cannabis itself.
Well, no, I realize that, but Delta 8 and Delta 9 now are the two big deals, and people are investing money in products and making products and growing products, and and they're going to take out a whole market within the market, right?
Yeah, he's not the only one. There's other states that have banned Delta 8 products as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we
Well,
have our own
personally-
problems up here. Never mind the states.
Sure.
Well, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Florida, if you want to get cannabis from Florida, it's medical only.
Yeah.
And you have to be a resident. So if you like partially live down there for the year, you can get cannabis medically, but you still can't get a high THC because they only have CBD.
Yeah. And they had a medical law that wouldn't allow patients to smoke at one time.
Yeah.
Patients
And
weren't allowed
like,
to
That's
smoke.
right. I remember that. Yep.
Like Northern Ontario Al says, we have our problems here. And that's another one that I was just telling my friend because she's like, oh, we're going to go to Quebec for the weekend. And I'm like, oh, you can't smoke outside there. And she's like,
Yep.
what? I'm
It's
like,
only in private.
yeah. And she's like, well, that's dumb because all the hotels are no smoking. I'm like, yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And don't
Yep.
don't forget the edible choice is very limited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's not just Quebec. New Brunswick, I think, is the same. And I think Nova Scotia has smoking areas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Correct,
and the one airport I flew into in Nova Scotia, it literally, I have a photo of it. It said no, it's a smoking area, and it says no cannabis smoking, just cigarettes only. And I stood there and I smoked my joint because as a medical patient, legally, I'm allowed to consume my cannabis where you can consume a cigarette.
Okay, so Al, do you remember when they were when the Smoke Free Ontario Act kind of came in place, and
Yeah.
they decided that where you can smoke a cigarette, you can smoke cannabis. So then all of a sudden, a few hospitals put up signs, smoking area signs for cannabis, and they were made to take them down almost immediately. Because basically they put designated smoking areas for cannabis and tobacco or something like that. I remember seeing a sign and there was a story about it.
Most signs I see now have
No smoking, no
no
vaping.
smoking,
Right.
and it shows all three symbols. It shows
Yes.
the
Yeah.
cannabis, the cigarette, and the vape.
Yeah.
Or outside, like you're saying, it's a smoking area, and it has
I
all
get it.
three.
Like before legalization, that's what we did. Like for example, if we were at an event in Toronto for treating yourself, we would go outside to the smoking area where people
Yeah.
went out and smoked.
Which was on the patio.
Or like there was even one event where you could go to the ramp, the exit ramp,
Okay.
and people would go up there and smoke the cigarettes. So we went up there and smoked doobies, and then
You
they
know,
came to us and said, "Oh, you can't smoke joints in there."
I don't know how Marco was able to talk the Metro Convention Center into allowing vaping in that lounge room they had set up where the volcanoes were, because
Well,
people
'cause it
were
was in the
smoking.
basement.
People were smoking pot in there as well, and you could
Oh.
smell the whole convention center. You could smell it, and he got away with that for, I would think, the first three.
Well, they had the vapor lounge for every event, but yeah, things did change from one to
Oh,
the
the first one was all open, fucking just go.
there was and there was vaporizers, different companies like Bolts and Stickle,
Yep.
and others.
They had a whole bank of
Damper was
volcanoes where you
there.
could go
Yeah.
and try
Triple
whatever
air.
strain. You couldn't get any pot there, but
No,
you could
no,
bring
correct.
your own and vape your own and
Yeah,
It
stuff
was
like that.
actually it was a
46
brilliant
square feet.
idea.
That
Yeah.
was the first time I met Sam Malachi, and that was the first time that I had met him in person, and he was walking around the room just throwing butts. Here, try this, try this, try this, try this.
Yeah, no, it's and a lot of people went out on the back balcony that first year. So year two, they wouldn't allow us out on the back balcony because it was a fire escape, and then they forced everybody out in the road, out
So
front.
we made a place for us right out front. What I didn't like is,
They wouldn't. After the first year, due to fire codes and stuff,
Yeah.
they wouldn't allow the torches.
Is that what it was? Because of the
Yeah.
torches?
Yeah, open flames, eh?
Yeah. Well, now when you go to the Metro Convention Center, which is downtown Toronto, at any cannabis event, you'll find that the majority of the people who actually consume cannabis are standing out front where they allow smoking. And what I don't like, though, is during a Blue Jay game when it lets out,
Oh, yeah.
the kids actually have to walk through the smoke and are like this. A lot of people walk through like this. I don't like that.
There was an article that we covered on the Psychedelics and Cannabis Educational News, and it would have been a good one to bring up today because I'll bring it up next week because it will have you guys just fucking shaking your heads. But yeah, he brought that up. People leaving sports games in Toronto and having to walk through clouds of smoke, and my co-host
and there are clouds.
Said something. I said, "Oh, I've experienced that. Yeah. I've been standing out there and people were going by."
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, the only other option when you go down there is to go across the street to the little parkette.
Yeah, but it's not safe to cross that road.
No, it's not. But we've kind of turned that into a monument for Tracy
Curley.
So,
is there a way? Is there a way to get from the?
Yes, you can go. You can go down and under. Yeah, and there's a whole bunch of restaurants and stuff under there, like McDonald's.
Yeah, but I've always crossed the street and then gone down.
You can go down to the bottom floor of the on the elevator, I believe, and go through a path. I believe there's a path.
I'll have to look into that.
Well, I'm not sure how many more cannabis events are going to be there because I think the only one that was continually there would be Lyft.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's going on with Lyft right now.
Lyft is no more as far as right now goes.
Well, if you go to their website, it that's not what it looks like. It looks like they're gearing up for something. And I really hope they are because I miss those people.
Okay, well, talking about events.
Well, there. All right. Do we have our events paper?
Yes. Okay, just give me. I just got to make sure I got the right one.
Monty's a pothead.
I was dancing to the tunes.
I know. I like that one too.
Yeah. The new intro, right? So here we go.
Yep. All right. Not sure if you guys can see that, but
no. Let's make it big, Al. Here, I'll do it.
You got it, Al. Go ahead.
All right. Okay. So today and tomorrow in Toronto, the Killers are going to be playing at the Budweiser stage. Yeah.
I like the name, Bud. The Bud stage.
The Bud stage.
Last time I was there, they told me if I wanted to smoke a joint, I could go outside that gate and smoke it.
Yeah, you can when you come into the concert after you've given your tickets, the bathroom there and the start of the concession stands, there is a smoking area that's very publicly posted that you can smoke in that area. And a lot of people vape and smoke pot and then go back into the stands. I've even come out during the concert, had a couple of puffs and went back in.
All right.
Yeah. But if you light up in the concert venue, no, you'll be asked to leave. No. Anyways, go ahead.
All right. Let's see. Thursday of this week, Divvy, the company Divvy, is having their harvest party in Port Perry, Ontario.
Oh.
I want to say, it's so funny. I hate to call out a company, but I'm going to call you out, Divvy. I don't know who's running your social media page, but announcing a harvest party is all great. But if you don't tell us what's going on at the harvest party, and you only tell us date, time, and location, it kind of makes it difficult for me to plan for my day.
Usually it's the location that's not public.
Oh yeah, no, it's so interesting because I've searched and I've searched and I've searched, and the response I got back from the person on their social media page was, "What more do you need to know?"
You know what, Mary Jane? That's happened to me 3 times this summer alone, where I've gotten invites to go to an event, and they did that. This is when it is, this is what time it is, and this is where it is, but we're not telling you what it is.
Well, like I've gone to a farm. It's at a farm, so I've gone to a farm
It's
before at a
September. What are you
harvesting.
harvesting in September?
You know what I mean? Like, is it? Well, are we harvesting, or are we just going there to look at the plants? And do they have like activities?
It's an actual harvest party. It could be.
It's just a harvest party. But I'm like,
vegetable gardens are being harvested.
it's kind of like I just would like a little bit more information, especially considering I have a million outfits to choose from. I would just like to know how, like I said, I just want to plan my day if I'm coming. It's a long way to go to not know what you're doing. It's in Fort Pierce, right?
It makes sense. You gotta, I understand where you're coming from. But
So
hey,
I would-
even still, it didn't stop you from promoting their event.
No, it did not, because I'm sure there are some people, and it sounds to me like this is not their first harvest party. So it's I feel like it's my ignorance as well, and not knowing what they've done previously. So I'm sure other people in the cannabis space is like, oh,
You're
Divvy's
supposed
having
to
another
check.
harvest party.
You're supposed to check on these things, young lady.
I did, didn't I?
All right.
You just hear me? I got a response from the person that said, what
know.
more do you need to know?
Yeah, correct.
Like kind of like what's going on at the event. Like,
Should I bring my pumpkins?
well, I will tell you, the last one we went to, I ended up getting drenched, soaked, because they put us on a tractor and took us around the field, and I just wasn't prepared. So I'm just saying, it would be nice if I knew what was going on.
Do I need an umbrella?
You know, just a little bit of clarity. Just a little bit of clarity. Okay. Moving on. All right. So Saturday and Sunday of this weekend, the 14th and 15th, there's this thing here in Ontario called Doors Open Ontario.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you've heard of it. It's been happening all summer. This weekend, I put the cities down below. On Saturday, the cities that are going to be hosting are Barrie, Carleton Place, Simcoe County, and Peterborough. And then on Sunday, the 2 spots are Simcoe County and Kawartha Lakes.
And what goes on there?
So what you can expect to find from Doors Open Ontario, and you can go check out their website to find out specifically which buildings and museums and stuff like that. But every city has museums, historic buildings, activities, things that you normally have to pay for, where Doors Open Ontario gives people in the community an opportunity. They're opening their doors. You can go in, check it out. It's all free of charge in those specific cities.
Peterborough has the Canoe Museum.
Yes, and you know what? That might be one of the locations that's on there.
It's a new one.
Oh, did they build a new one?
Yeah, it's a new location. It's over by the lift lofts.
Oh, that is amazing.
Apparently
The
it's a little
new
smaller.
museum was awesome. It's awesome. So hopefully it's on the list. You could get in there and check it out.
A lot of museums are doing that. You can go to the ROM. I believe it's on Thursdays, and it's free.
Oh yeah, the lineup is
and most people don't know that, but they used to do that at Ontario.
I think it's the last Thursday
MJ.
of the month. That's okay. I think it's the last Thursday of the month.
Is it only one? See, I grew up. I was a ROM kid. Every Saturday you'd find me golfing in the morning, and then at the ROM for the rest of the day.
Mhm.
And we were always allowed to go anytime because we were ROM kids. But then as an adult, I went with David a few times on Thursdays. It was either Tuesdays or Thursdays. I can't remember which.
Yeah. Well, they do. The ROM still does discounts. Like I can't remember if it's like cheaper price after a certain time of the day or whatnot. But yeah. And then of course, don't want to forget. This is next week, Friday to Sunday, the 20th to the 22nd. Spannabis 21 is happening in Spain.
21 years, but it's not
21. Yeah. And this here is a floor map of the upcoming Spannabis. That green section towards the bottom of the screen there, that is the section dedicated entirely to CBD. So
nice.
the first time that they're actually dedicating a space specifically for CBD.
But I'm wondering why.
Why what?
Exactly.
I personally think when you go to these events, the most frustrating thing for me that makes my day difficult is that they jumble everybody together.
Okay, in that aspects, I get you.
Organizing.
You know what I mean? Like they literally jumble everybody together. And I just wish that like when we would go to lift, you would go from, you know, one spot that maybe was a nutrient for, you know, the average person, not your massive corporate, you know, client. But then you move to the next company and that's exactly what it is. It's security systems for like, you know, they're talking about how they run the security cameras at the airport in Toronto. And it's like, why can't you just group everybody that has like stuff in the same area? So that way, if somebody is a retailer and they want to go find their people, they just go to that area.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe it's like IKEA. You know, IKEA, they even though they group everything together, you still have to walk through the whole store. So maybe the event spaces are saying if we jumble everybody up, then these people have to check every single row. I don't know.
Oh, wait. Squirrels are having sex again.
Again, you need to put a live cam out that window.
There is one.
Oh no, MJ.
Put it on OnlyFans.
Oh, now we got that vision in our heads again.
Squirrel cam.
All right, so are we done with the Spanibus?
Yeah, we're done with the events. Should we move on to entertainment?
Okay, yes.
I know last week I talked a little bit about an upcoming movie that I was going to see. I had pre-purchased tickets, was super excited. The theater was packed. Like,
did they have the creatures and running around and Beetlejuice running around and stuff like that? Because I saw a lot of videos in theaters down in the States where they had the characters there.
No.
You know, people dressed up as the characters.
No, people were so stoked about this movie though that Cineplex had sent out or had received these special like items for the movie and they were sold out.
Wow.
Like within minutes. Like they were gone.
Yeah, no
gone.
doubt. No doubt.
Yeah.
So you went and saw it.
Go see Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
If you have seen the original Beetlejuice, it is so amazing for the nostalgia, not just for the story. Like my daughter, she had seen the original Beetlejuice, but like years and years and years ago.
I watched it last weekend. I watched it.
Yeah, we did the same. We watched the movie, the first Beetlejuice, 3-4 days before we went to go see the second one, just as like a refresher. And my God, I was like grinning ear to ear when the movie began. Like Michael Keaton's name came up on the credits. I was like, oh, like Beetlejuice, and then oh my God, I was like, I was in heaven. But I don't want to give too many. I don't want to give spoilers.
I saw it yesterday morning at like 3 a.m. when I finally found it somewhere to watch it.
I seen you post Beetlejuice.
And, you know, I don't want to ruin it, but all I'm going to say really is if you are a fan of the original Beetlejuice, you will enjoy this because it's Beetlejuice. It wasn't
the
anything.
Humor is the same.
It wasn't anything over the top where you were belly rolling laughter. There were a few tongue-in-cheek pokes and stuff like that.
It was smart.
And
it was
they
funny.
handled I can't remember his name and I don't even want to say his name, but
There's
father.
one person that didn't make it. Yeah,
the father was not in the movie because of what happened a few years ago now.
No, the actor was not in the movie.
The actor was not in the movie, but the father was. Yes, that's how. Yeah.
They did a very good job at implementing that and figuring out a way to still keep the story.
I read something about it before I saw the movie, so I
didn't. I seen the article, and this is what I'm like. I'm very careful. I seen the article and I sent it to myself.
Yeah, I don't like spoilers.
And I was like,
I'll
read that. Yeah, I'll read that later. And I read it after, and I was like, okay, so that explains why they did what they did.
That's the only thing I saw that in in People Magazine or Variety or something. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
very, very, very out there. Many years ago, the gentleman that played the dad, and I can't remember his name, was implemented in some naughty things that he was charged with, and the producers, the movies, decided to come up with a way that he did not have to bring that back into the franchise, basically. Right.
Well, and I mean, it doesn't take away from the movie.
No, you know what? It made the movie because it was very humorous.
So what I really
Yeah, they
enjoyed was,
Don't get any
if
spoilers.
you like Al said, if you like the original, you'll like this one because it's the classic style animation.
It was Beetlejuice. It wasn't something else. It was Beetlejuice.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yep. And the one thing I really enjoyed about it was, so I don't know if you know this, but Winona Ryder, when she started Stranger Things, said to the producers, I will only do this show if and only if Beetlejuice comes back. I'm taking time off to go do that.
Well, yeah, well, that makes sense, right?
Yeah. Which makes me wonder if that's why Stranger Things was on such a hiatus.
So, and now Wednesday, the second season of Wednesday's coming up. Now I believe they're just wrapping up production of that.
She's an amazing actress too.
I'm just catching the second season of Outlast.
Okay.
Where people are.
You know what? I saw that, Al. I started watching it.
Yeah. Did you?
I like Alone. I watched
there was.
Is that the one in Alaska?
The one in Alaska.
My friend's watching that too.
Yeah.
She's like, don't watch it before bed. She spent all night dreaming she was out.
I think
trying
there's
to
two
survive.
seasons now.
Yeah, there's Alone and there's Outlast. There's two different shows.
Yes.
And I think they both go to Alaska.
I can't remember where Outlast. I've only watched 5 or 10 minutes because something else, squirrel. But yeah, it's a good one. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm still binging Frasier.
It only has one rule. Fuck, people are stealing sleeping bags from each other and all.
Oh, I know.
Oh,
I know. And I've started watching.
Oh, and then, they're sleeping in below freezing temperatures.
Yes, they're up near the Yukon, I think, or something. Right,
you're up there.
Yeah, I've started watching The Godfather of Harlem, which is Forrest Whitaker. Vincent D'Onofrio's in it. Eduardo, I can't remember his name. He's been in a few really big shows. He was in Breaking Bad. Was it Breaking Bad? Yeah, I think it was Breaking Bad. Anyways, it's a good one.
Good one. Alrighty, are we done? Entertainment.
We are.
We are. That means we're gonna move on to Sports. That's right. I've got two stories. One is cannabis related, and the other one is history related because it's like it's new history. So we're going to go into the cannabis related one first. It says 9 ways marijuana affects your athletic performance. Okay, here we go. It says that benefit 1, it reduces inflammation.
Makes sense.
All right. Number 2.
CBC is good for that.
Yeah. Number 2, ease soreness and pain.
Again, inflammation. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Treat muscle spasms.
Again, inflammation.
Nasty. Well, yes and no. That's when the muscle.
Yeah. Yeah, treating muscle spasms associated with MS, Parkinson's. Yeah. Okay.
Get over
improve sleep.
Come here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
CBN is good for that.
It sure is. Yeah. Improve mental acuity.
Acuity?
Yes.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah.
THCV is good for that.
Cannabis has helped. It says here, Mike. Cannabis has helped My mental game and focus incredibly. Early in the practice, cannabis helped to reduce anxiety and keep me calm and focused on one task.
That would help with
Um,
meditation too,
risk,
Al.
risk number one, damaged lungs.
Mhm.
Yeah, I find that weird, but it's supposed to be very good for lungs.
There's
Well,
yeah,
are you
I've
putting tobacco with it?
yeah,
No,
peppers, yeah. There's been several studies.
Blunt.
Doctor Tashkin, Donald Tashkin, he's done some positive stories when it comes to cannabis. I know that I recently had a lung X-ray, and like I've been basically consuming daily since I became a patient 21 years ago, and everything was clean, so
yeah,
everything was fine. So that was good. But that's me.
Wait a minute.
Other
You've
okay.
been
Risk-
consuming for 21 years?
Yeah, I've been a patient for 21 years, so it's been steady for 21 years
Oh,
every day.
but you've
Yeah, I've
consumed
been
before that.
consuming since I was 13. So
Okay. I was gonna say
Yeah.
there's no way I've consumed longer than you. That just
No.
almost blew my mind. Like that's
no,
not
since I was
possible.
13. So that'd be what almost 50 years. 50 years, yes.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
I was 19, but the first time I smoked a joint was in a hash bar in Amsterdam.
No, okay, yeah. Now they say it impairs motor skills. I'm sure there's pros and cons on that. There's people who
There's
say-
nothing wrong with my driving.
They say it helps with your anxiety while you're driving. Right. But I understand. I don't really
But
like
don't
the
smoke
idea
and drive.
is seeing a newbie that's goes out and smokes a big fucking infused gagger, and then jumps behind the wheel.
So yeah, that's tolerance. I feel like consumption
Yeah.
does not equal intoxication.
Correct. Yeah.
And if I were to have a sip of a beer, I would be too drunk to drive.
hmm
But
Yes.
that's like a person that drinks beer all the
I-
time could drink a beer and be fine to drive.
I will not drive with any amount of alcohol.
yeah.
Like if I've had a couple of beers at a barbecue or something like that, I'll sit around for a few hours before I'll drive again.
Hmm.
Mhm.
I will
Yeah, but-
not. I will not go out for a glass of wine and then jump in the car and go home or anything.
Yeah,
get-
but to smoke a joint, you'd be fine because you're
Oh.
used to it. That's what
Oh, yeah.
Al's
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Like a newbie
Yeah.
could smoke even just the smallest bit of that big fat joint
Yeah.
and be too
Yeah.
wrecked to drive. So it's
Yeah.
about intoxication, not so much.
Yeah, whereas the tests now show consumption. They don't
Yeah.
show that the saliva test shows that okay, you've consumed cannabis, but it
Mhm.
doesn't tell you where the intoxication level is.
You know,
Yeah.
And it could have been 4 or 5 hours, and it would still
Yeah.
show up on the swab.
one of our listeners was pulled over recently
Oh, no.
on the trip going up through Manitoba,
Oh, no.
and they instantly give you a breathalyzer there when you get
Yeah,
pulled
I
over.
wouldn't doubt it. Yes, Saskatchewan. We did a report yesterday in the news.
Maybe it was Saskatchewan. It could have been Saskatchewan.
A few thousand people that they pulled over on the long weekend. Yeah, it was huge. You gotta
Well,
make them people.
I don't know any of the details. I just saw a post that I was pulled over and they gave me a breathalyzer.
Yeah. They have zero tolerance for cannabis.
In
Now, as far-
Saskatchewan?
yeah.
Okay.
Risk number 3, they said increased likelihood of chronic depression. Risk 4, increased heart attack risk. There you go. But
Wait.
Interesting.
Oh, that's a risk. Okay. Yes.
yeah. Because
Well,
the title is
it raises
ways.
your blood, your heart rate, right?
Yeah, and it says 9 ways that it can affect your athletic performance. It doesn't say improve
Okay.
or anything. It just says effects, right? So it has the
Okay.
positives and the negatives.
Well, it doesn't have lower blood pressure, or does it?
Yeah, it doesn't mention that. No, it didn't.
Interesting, because that's another side effect of
Oh, it does. Oh, I know that. Yeah, I've experienced that.
my neighbor actually got off his blood pressure medication once he started taking oil regularly.
Yeah. Yeah, because it lowers your blood pressure. I was
Yeah.
told that from a doctor.
Oh.
The doctor's
Yeah,
office.
my
What's that?
doctor, when I went in and got my blood pressure done, the doctor was like, "You're like on the low side, but not on the concerning low side." I said, "Well,
Right.
what does that mean?" He's like, "Well, it means that your body is just working at a lower pace, so it should last longer." I said,
Yeah,
"Sounds
which
good to me."
low blood pressure would affect your performance as an athlete.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it affects your body temperature too. You
Yeah.
always feel colder. 'Cause you have lower blood
I
pressure.
find that dabs raise my body temperature. My head gets very warm after I've had a dab.
I feel like that's just a dab rush.
That's
I
the
think we
right.
all get
Well,
that.
you know,
It dissipates.
what do they call it? Oh shit, there's a word for it.
Going to like hot sweats, cold sweats. Like that's what it feels like. All of a sudden, I get really freaking
Dab
hot.
sweat.
I want to
Dab
strip all
sweat.
my clothes off. Yeah.
Dab
Gold
sweat,
rush?
they call it. Yeah.
What?
We were
Dab
talking
sweat.
about that on the show. I don't think you were there, and I asked Marcel and Lenny what causes that, and neither of them really knew. And they said it equates to the chemicals that are in it, like the amount of the.
I think
the
it would be
amount
how
of-
high the THC is. Just
That's what
like
I mean.
That,
Yeah.
that high of a hit at once just
Yeah.
raises the THC in your body. I don't know.
I've just started noticing this because I was using I
too
had
big of a
diamonds in my Shatterizer, and I was just like, wow.
Oh yeah, no, it's almost equated to the sensation of greening out. But
Yeah,
it's
well,
only so
and for a
short-lived.
novice, that's what you would think it is.
Yeah. Into the sweats and the.
Yeah. Well, thank God it doesn't last long though. Like, and it generally only happens from a dab if somebody or you take too much of a dab.
I get the same thing of like right now. I'm a little panicky right now, and it happens just because I just finished smoking a joint. Sometimes I get a little panicky. I'm smoking some ICC. So, yeah. But
just
then
remember, you're just high.
I've got to roll one.
I'm drinking water.
I'm drinking
That's
water.
what anytime I tell everyone, look, it's just
I'm going to
cannabis.
eat before I
just
go.
Tell yourself
We're
I'm
still-
just high.
I've got myself a grinder here. This was passed to me when I was at an event. Benny's World 420.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, it works good, man.
You know what?
I got another sports story here. It's a non
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, the history one.
not cannabis story. It is a history breaking story. I believe that you guys will agree.
We need to
And,
do a break.
that is
thing.
the good, the bad, and the ugly of the women's PWHL, the Professional Women's Hockey Leagues. This is their uniforms. And this article says good, bad, and ugly. So some people like them, some people don't.
There's only 3 teams so far.
No. They just got 3 in this picture.
Oh.
But they also named the teams. Last year during the season, they were only named by their cities: Toronto, New York, Minnesota.
Now they have their names. Okay.
Now they've picked names. And let's see. Some people. This is some of the people say that the Toronto sweater looks like Swedish royalty, which would be this blue and gold one here. There's the one here in the bottom right hand corner. It looks like the Calgary Flames logo.
That sure does.
Yeah, and the Montreal logo, the Victoria, this one here, at the top. They say that was the one that was seen as the best logo in the league. And there it is there. You can see it there. Because last year they just had the team's names on them.
Yeah. The town or the
town.
city. I mean.
Cities. You can see there's one there called the Sirens, which is the New York Sirens. Boston Fleet, which is the top right.
Do we have a Canadian team?
Yeah, Toronto.
Yeah.
Toronto and Montreal.
Toronto, and what are their names?
Okay, Montreal is the Viort right there. Victoria. Okay,
Oh, that's
Toronto-
Montreal. Okay.
The Toronto team. I'm sorry.
Yeah, why is the logo blue and yellow for Toronto? That's
Well,
just
there
weird.
it is right there. Okay.
That's Toronto, but it's the
Yeah.
Toronto what?
Toronto Scriptrees.
Oh, gee.
Scriptrees. SCEPTRES.
Scepters.
Scepters.
Oh,
Yeah.
Scepter. Okay.
Okay.
That's
all
why
right.
it's got that thing on the top. They're trying to make it look like it's a scepter.
Oh, okay. Oh, look like an idiot can't read.
Ah.
How often do you ever see that word?
Yeah, that's weird.
Toronto Scepters. Okay, I see what that is there.
Now you will never forget that now, Al.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, there's the sirens, and then let me see if there's any more logos. So you can see there last year, Toronto just had Toronto on it, right?
So what this is the NHL version of women's hockey.
Correct, exactly. These are paid players. They set records constantly throughout the year for attendance records. They started in smaller venues, like let's say 2,500, and they ended up going to all the bigger arenas.
So they play at
They
the
could
Scotia.
get 10,000 and 15,000 people in to watch.
Do they play at the Scotia?
That's in Ottawa. They played in.
No, the Scotia's in Toronto, buddy. That's the Scotia.
Oh, you're talking about where the Leafs play?
Yeah, do they play there as well?
No, they play in where the Leafs practice. I believe was where it is now.
I had heard at one time. Well, so they play at Maple Leaf Gardens then.
Yeah, I believe that's what it is. Correct. Yeah. Yep.
Which is now Ryerson University, but the actual venue that was Maple Leaf Gardens is still there.
Yeah, so they are playing in a legend building, and so that was the release of
that's where the Leafs did. That was their practice rink upstairs,
yes.
I believe.
Yeah.
And now the main rink. Where we used to go to concerts and to see Leaf games is now, I believe, the fitness facility.
I remember it was Loblaws at one time. They had a spot painted.
Maybe it's.
And it said,
Yeah,
this is center ice.
you're right. Yes, it might be.
Yeah.
But they have a huge fitness facility there in that building.
Yeah.
And it's Ryerson. It's run by Ryerson University as well. It's not Ryerson anymore, is it? What's wrong, Mary Jane?
Oh, I'm just looking at a massive spider. I'm just making sure it doesn't go anywhere so I can kill it when we're done.
Oh, well, it didn't do anything to hurt you. You're scared of it.
It's in the house. It's going to die. It took all of me just to sit here because I was like, oh, and I was ready to just jump up and go and kill it right away. And I was like, oh, yeah, you're podcasting. Stay still.
All righty.
Okay,
Well, that is our sports news. We got to see the sweaters and stuff that's been released. So that would be new stuff, obviously. History in the making. Would we like to run an interview?
Can, sure.
All right, because we're getting down to the end of the show. We just haven't ran any commercials because we're doing so much talking. We've just been
sure. How long is the interview? Do I have time?
Oh, this interview that I've loaded up here for us is 1 minute and 10 seconds.
Okay, that's fine. And then I've got to drive to Marathon.
All righty. Here we go. How are you? Can I ask you a question just so you know I'm Al. My producer, and we're live on 420radio.ca and paceradio.net. So basically my basic question is pretty simple. Why do you march?
I've been doing it for years and we still need to recognize it globally, so I march.
There you go. Exactly.
I want to travel and be able to smoke weed in other countries.
Yeah, exactly. Good answer. Thank you. Perfect reason. Want to be able to smoke dubs in other countries.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that's
Exactly.
May 3rd next
Like,
year.
for example,
They-
you guys
when
were
they-
talking earlier about the U.S. election and where cannabis stands and the whole thing. If the U.S. legalizes cannabis, will we be able to cross the border with our cannabis?
Nope,
I
never.
doubt it.
Never.
You know what? I'm okay with that because right on the other side of the border or at
There's
the
a store.
airport, there should be stores,
Right.
you know, and all it's going to do is make more money for tourism because
cause
I'll
trouble
be able
for
to
you.
come.
And if you try, like you can fly Nova Scotia to Vancouver
Yeah, you
with
can.
your cannabis.
Yeah.
But if you try and go across the border, be it by any means, you are going to get zipped for transportating across the border, and it's a hefty fine and probably charges. So don't do it. Don't do it. I know a few people who've done silly things like that. I can do it. I can do it. No, you can't. Not now.
I wouldn't even take my car across the border. Put it that way. If I had to drive across the border, I would rent a car.
If I had to drive across the border, I would have my car detailed before I went near it. I'm always ask Dean when we go up to Thunder Bay. I'm like, okay, stay right. Don't, because if you go and get into
One
that
wrong
line,
turn. Yeah.
you are committed. And then whatever happens after that, and I've watched that Border Patrol show, and wow, man, they are not nice.
You
to
could
people who
accidentally
do that.
drive into a border crossing and then get busted.
Exactly.
You get there and you're like, I need to turn around. And
I
they're
didn't
like, "Well,
mean
you
to
have
go
go
this way.
through
I meant to
turn
take a
around."
right instead of a left. And it just Buffalo. It happens. That happens in Buffalo.
Cornwall,
Yeah.
Sarnia,
To St. Marie.
Windsor. You got to be careful in all of those. Windsor,
we can't. But there are some, like to her point about traveling to other countries. There are some countries where you can go and get access to cannabis.
Well, you can.
Or
In
if you just go to the states, for example, and you get access to cannabis.
In
Yeah.
most states,
Depends
you can
where.
have access to it. In most provinces, you can get access to it. So what's the point? Why risk it? Go try something different. Right? I at this point, I am hesitant to even get on a plane and
But
fly.
I think if I was
I
a
don't know why.
snowbird, but what if you were a snowbird and you were heading south for 6 months? Would you
I would
want to take a
suggest
supply
if you
with
use
you, or would
cannabis, I would suggest that if you use cannabis, you do not choose Florida as your destination.
I actually know snowbirds that use cannabis, go to Florida, and they have their own hookups.
Oh yeah.
Just like
Oh
we do,
yeah.
Yeah.
you know?
It's not so hard. It's never been hard to get, even since I've been around. So
Yeah. You're
got
gonna
any
do what you're
weed?
gonna
Yeah,
do.
sure, man. What do you want?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All righty. Well, there's the interview of the day. Got everything else covered. We've done every segment. Anything else you'd like to mention, talk about, bring up, discuss?
Time to go have lunch.
Time to have lunch. That's right. I got to finish my dube and get into lunch. I got to take the dog for a walk. She's been sitting at the gate for a while.
I'm gonna take Rosa with me.
Yeah.
She hasn't been. I have not been out of this town since the last time I went out of this town, which was so long. I don't remember when.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Because I'm out in the country too, right? And
You don't really have to go out. You go shop. I go shopping. I go into town. Everything's right here.
I tried
the
to get.
The dump is 10 minutes up the road. The next town is 10 minutes up the road. Marathon is the next city, if you want to call it a city, that has anything like shopping and Timmy's and an A&W, places that I like to go to once every 6 months or so. No McDonald's though.
No McDonald's. All righty. Okay. All right. Other than that, I guess we'll see everybody next week. Same time, same place.
Same bat time, same
movie.
bat channel.
I like how you didn't say see you next Tuesday.
No.
What? Wait. Back up. Why
We
am I
can
missing?
discuss that off air.
See you next week.
See you next week.
Canoe.
Bye. Bye.
I'm lost.
You're watching the 420 Pace Network, found at 420radio.ca and paceradio.net. Are you looking for non-stop, continuous cannabis and psychedelic programming? If you are, then turn your browsers to 420radio.ca or paceradio.net, where you will find the 420 Pace Re-Rolled Saturday. Everything gets started at 8 a.m. Eastern Saturday morning.